Good morning, math crew. Welcome to an application problem involving a guy wire and a utility pole. Guy wires are those wires that you see sometimes encased in yellow plastic against utility poles. They are there for stability. We have a guy wire attached to a utility pole at a distance of 35 feet above the ground. The other end of the guy wire is 12 feet from the utility pole in the ground. And we're wondering how long the wire is. So if we need to figure this out, I'm going to organize with a diagram. I'm going to make a utility pole over here. And if you want to make it as a little rectangle to make it look more like a pole, that's fine. Here's a bird on top of mine. You can judge my artwork later. Let's see. We have a guy wire attached, and then the wire comes down and is hooked into the ground, someplace down in here. We end up with a right triangle format for this, with the utility pole and the wire and the horizontal distance along the ground forming our right angle, or our right triangle. The right angle is between the vertical pole and the horizontal ground. And so that means that the wire is the hypotenuse. And we're looking to find out how long that wire is, so we're really looking for the hypotenuse. I'll label it C. I must know the other two pieces of information, the other two legs of this triangle. The wire is attached at a distance of 35 feet above the ground. That's the vertical distance. So 35 feet vertically. And then the other end of the guy wire is 12 feet from the utility pole in the ground. That's the horizontal distance, 12 feet horizontally. The Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, comes into play. We don't know c, but let's fill in everything else. 12 squared plus 35 squared equals c squared. 144 plus 1,225 equals c squared. That means 1,369 equals c squared. To get the c value all alone instead of c squared, you can either take the 1/2 power of both sides of the equation, or you can take the square root of both sides of the equation. We'll only get one answer here because we're talking about distances. I'm going to take the square root of both sides. The square root of 1,369 equals the square root of c squared. This one works out very nicely. The square root of 1,369 is exactly 37. So 37 equals C. We were in charge of finding out how long the guy wire is. We have a value of 37. We should put a label on it. Everything in this problem was labeled in feet. The guy wire measures 37 feet, or the guy wire is 37 feet long. Let's stop and see if that's reasonable. The guy wire is the hypotenuse in this problem, and so it has to be longer than either of the legs. Well, 37 is longer than 35 or 12, either of them, so that part is good. The guy wire needs to be less than the sum of the two legs. 35 plus 12 is 47, and the wire is definitely less than 47 feet. So this makes good, reasonable sense. It's not a perfect double check, but it lets you know that your answer is reasonable.